The battle for the 2021 GNCC Championship continues in round number 12. Stu Baylor carries a 1-point lead in the championship battle after the win in Ohio. It's the closest championship battle we've seen in years. Who will come out on top here today? Baylor, Kelly. Round number 12 of the GNCC 2021 season on MAVTV starts now.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Hello and welcome to the 12th round of the 2021 GNCC racing season, presented by Specialized and AMA National Championship. GNCC making its return to Newburgh, West Virginia for the Buckwheat 100. I'm Mikey Waynes, and I'll be taking you through today's racing action. And of course, we start things off with the Specialized race recap. Round number 11, action-packed. Taking the whole shot was the Intimidator, Trevor Bollinger. Bollinger, the 739 Rockstar Husky ride, having a pretty good day early on in this one, battling with the top three. But as things sorted out, hey, a little trouble for Ben Kelly. He mentioned after the race he was off the bike more than he'd like. Evidence of it there in the pits, getting some help, if you will. But Ben Kelly would find his way out front eventually as him, Jordan Ashburn, on the Magna 1 Motorsports Husqvarna in the number 2 spot, and Stu Baylor in third. But again, as that 3-hour race wore on, it was a battle everybody came to see. Ben Kelly and Stu Baylor, the 514 Am-Pro Yamaha rider, duking it out. And as it got down to the nitty-gritty, it was Stu Baylor finding his way out front and eventually capturing his 7th win of the season. And if you're just joining us for the first time, you're thinking, well, he's got to be running away with this championship. Not the case. Struggled the first couple, didn't race round 1, struggled in round 2, and since then has been chipping away at that guy right there, the 530 of Ben Kelly, trying to regain the lead, the points lead, I should say. Gained it for the first time, better said, and he did that today at the last race, capturing the win. His 7th win of the season puts him in the number 1 spot as we head into round number 12 here today. Taking a look at the top 10, Baylor first, Ben Kelly finished in the number 2 spot, and Jordan Ashburn rounded out the top 3. Again, fantastic ride for Baylor, and had a chance to catch up with Stu after the race to get his thoughts on the win.
It was a struggle, you know. Didn't really tell anybody, but the first race here, the first lap, this spring down in the Flat Rock Creek, I tore my meniscus, and I've been kind of struggling with that since that day. And today it was a repeat. First lap, got on the inside of somebody, started watching the front, and felt that knee pop, and I was like, oh my God, there goes that knee again. So that with a buckle handle tear, your knee seems to lock up, and haven't been able to straighten it all day. So I was digging deep, and I was telling all my mechanics there on the first lap, I need to pit right now. I need to try to get in the pits first lap, because somebody else can actually take it and pop it loose. But after that I knew I could run the pace, and I got 2 to go. I had a little mistake on a log, and last lap I put some pressure on Ben. We were about 3 or 4 seconds apart, and I saw him land on the same exact log. So I know he was cussing the log the same way I was, but that's racing, and it was a fun day.
Well, Stu Baylor going to be running that reverse plate you see on screen there, the 514, with that 1-point lead over Ben Kelly. So stakes are high for those two guys today as we are off and rolling. And it is the 514 Am-Pro Yamaha, your points leader, Stu Baylor, out front early, snagging the whole shot and the early lead. Good start for Thad Duvall right there. We'll see how things are sorting out here in the woods. I believe that's Ricky Russell there in the number 2 spot. And small little gap there to start things out. Sure enough, that is Ricky Russell in the number 2 position. Trevor Bollinger in third. Ben Kelly back in the number 4 spot. And Jordan Ashburn rounding out the top 5. Tough start there for Josh Strang, back in the pack. We'll see how he works that out. With the XC2 250 Pro class, Thorne Devlin on the beta. Oh no! He celebrates too soon, and it's Lyndon Snodgrass stealing away that hole shot. Wow. So Thorne Devlin was feeling it. Threw the fist up, but too soon, as Snodgrass says, not so fast. That's my hole shot. That's my lead into the woods. Snodgrass had a season of some ups and downs, but he's made a few podiums this season. He's got a win under his belt. See if he can get it done here today as well. FMF XC3 125 class, sorting things out. That is the 332 Yamaha of Noah Clark out front, snagging the hole shot and the early lead right there. We'll see if he can hang on to it as we get into the woods. I believe that is the 707 of Jason Liscombe back there, jockeying for position. It is, so scratch that. Liscombe overtakes Noah Clark for the lead, and that is Hunter Neuwirth, the 747, rounding out the top 3 as the XC3 head into the woods. Back out front with the leaders, it's Stu Baylor out front, followed closely by Ricky Russell. And let's see who is back in the number 3 spot. Good little gap for the 2 riders out front. And oh, how about that? Look at that battle for 3rd place. Basically a 3-way battle for that number 3 spot between Trevor Bollinger, Ben Kelly, and Jordan Ashburn. Things really heating up for that number 3 position early in this one. Baylor and Ricky Russell now putting a little gap again on the rest of the class right here. A little tricky section. Riders able to course through there with no issues. Ricky Russell getting up on that rear wheel of Stu Baylor. Good to see Ricky Russell out in front. Here comes Ashburn and Ben Kelly. Oh, and Ashburn, a little trouble right there. Ben Kelly takes advantage. And you got your Rockstar Husky teammates, Trevor Bollinger and Thad Duvall. Handlebar to handlebar right there. We'll see how that one sorts out between the Husky riders. So good things shaping up here early. And round number 12, Baylor out in front. That reverse plate, he's got to feel good about that. Coming in here with that 1-point lead. See if he can capitalize while out front and try to stretch this out. Small gap between him and Ricky Russell now, but here comes the 530 KTM of Ben Kelly in the number 3 spot, and he's got company. That's Jordan Ashburn back there in 4th. And believe, yeah, that's Thad Duvall. Well, Stu Baylor with a fantastic start. Can he keep it rolling? GNCC on MAVTV returns after this.
Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. And by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Well, the 514 and Pro Yamaha of Stu Baylor still leading this one out in front, but things starting to heat up back there as Ricky Russell in that number 2 spot, Ben Kelly there in 3rd, and Jordan Ashburn throwing his name in the hat here for that number 2 position. So things starting to heat up right there. Thad Duvall, good ride out of him so far, sitting there in the number 5 spot. Small gap between him and the rest of the leaders, but look for him to chip away at that right here. And look at that. Sitting 1, 2, and 3 right now. Baylor, Ricky Russell, and Ben Kelly sorting things out. Want to give a shout out to, honestly, both Ricky Russell and Thad Duvall. 2 riders. We've seen them on the podium this year, but it has without a doubt been a season of ups and downs. And you got to think, this point in the season, 2 races left. Both riders, for themselves, for their teams, for their sponsors, want to end on a high note. So good to see both riders kind of returning to the form we are used to seeing them battling with these front runners. And then, of course, Jordan Ashburn, man, continues to just make progress in this XC1 class. That was a 739 of Trevor Bollinger right there. Bollinger starting to seem more like the Bollinger that we remember seeing out of the XC2 class, chipping away at these guys. So I think moving into next year, it's going to be interesting. How about this new leader, Ricky Russell out in front on that Coastal Racing gas. So Kelly in the number 2 spot, and there's Baylor in 3rd place. So got to think Baylor went down somewhere, maybe some troubles and open up the door for both Ricky Russell and Ben Kelly to get around him into the number 1 and the number 2 spot. Ashburn sitting there in the number 4 position. So, hey, just when we were singing the praises of Ricky Russell, let's see what he can do with this lead out in front. Boy, Russell would love nothing more than to kind of play spoiler. It's advertised as the Ben Kelly and the Stu Baylor show, and Ricky Russell says, I'm going to play spoiler, go out in here and get me a win today. Of course, got a long way to go, but certainly doing well to get out in front of these guys. He's got to feel good about having the lead here in the XC1. Thad Duvall right there. So again, Ricky Russell, your new leader out in front. Scratch that. Just as soon as we say that, it's Ben Kelly. So Ben Kelly, the 530, the factory Red Bull KTM rider, moves into the number 1 spot, and there is Baylor in second. So where is Ricky Russell? Has he fallen back to the number 3 spot, or maybe further? Nonetheless, Ben Kelly has the lead, and this is what everybody bought the ticket to see, is the Ben Kelly and Stu Baylor battle. Again, I can't stop thinking about it, can't stop saying it enough. 1 point separating these two riders. The advantage Stu Baylor. At this point, it's mano a mano. Whoever finishes in front of the other guy is likely going to get the championship this season. Right now, that man is Ben Kelly. Of course, one more round after this, the season finale Ironman over in Crawfordsville, Indiana in a couple of weeks. Gotta think, if this one ends how it does here today, or how it sits right now, that one's going to be wild. This one's wild nonetheless. Seeing those two guys out front, there he is, the 530 of Ben Kelly, ripping right now, looking absolutely methodical as he moves through this race course here at the Buckwheat 100. And there is Stu Baylor. So a small gap in between first and second place right now. We'll see if Stu Baylor's able to make up some time. But boy, Ben Kelly is riding with a sense of urgency here. And Stu Baylor looking good as well. Obviously, between the two of them, the obvious statement is, yeah, you want to win. You want to finish in front of the other guy. But if they finish this way 1-2, it's kind of like, hey, we go on to Ironman so you can pick up the win there. So you see there, 3 laps to go. Ben Kelly's getting the pit board. You're up 10 seconds on Stu. Let's see if that holds true. I would say that's about dead on as Stu Baylor enters the Ampro Yamaha pits right there. Nothing too crazy for either rider. If you're just tuning in on race day, these are a 3-hour race, so a pit stop is necessary. Riders get fuel. They get a fresh set of goggles. They get a little rehydration. Of course, riders with the Camelbacks, hydration packs. But always nice to get a little refreshment there in the pits as well. Every little bit helps, so nothing out of the ordinary. This, though, oh, what a heartbreaker for Stu Baylor as he tries to get around some lap traffic and struggles, finally able to get around them. If you've never been to a GNCC before, we mentioned this on a previous show, you've got your pro riders are out there the same time as your A riders, as your B riders. They're fighting for their own race, their own championships at the amateur level. But, obviously these pro guys, much faster, much more skilled, so they do get into lap traffic, and it can play a huge factor. There are two sides of it. You may think, well, it's ridiculous. But you've got to almost use those lappers to your advantage. If you're in Ben Kelly's situation, if you can get around him quick, and it's a difficult spot, the rider's not able to get out of the way for the guy behind him. Stu Baylor, being that guy, comes in, struggles. It adds time, adds that element of what is a GNCC that makes it just that much more interesting, that much more unique and difficult for these riders. So kudos to Ben Kelly getting through there, and Stu Baylor, not the recipient of the good part of lap traffic right there, if you will. So coming through right here, mechanics and team out there pointing lines, letting them know, hey, here is the driest of the low wet spots right here. Here's the spot you want to hit. Hit your marks, get through there. No issues for Baylor or Ben Kelly. But boy, Ben Kelly's starting to put a little bit of a heater on this one. We'll see if Stu's got what it takes to catch up. Stu with the thumbs up to the fan said, thanks, I need all the help I can get right now. As Ben Kelly moving right through here. And yeah, Stu Baylor is making up some time on Ben Kelly. So we'll see if it if it gets close down to the wire. Ben Kelly, your leader. He needs the win. So does Baylor. Who's going to get it? Advantage Kelly right now. We'll be right back.
Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready. And by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Well, welcome back to the Buckwheat 100 GNCC here on MAVTV. It's the factory Red Bull KTM rider, Ben Kelly, number 530, that is out front with Stu Baylor, the points leader coming into today. A 1-point advantage for the 514 Am Pro Yamaha rider, Stu Baylor. So, hey, this is what we signed up for. We advertise it as mano a mano, Kelly versus Baylor, and that is exactly what we're getting right here. But boy, as this 3 hours has worn on here today, it is advantage Kelly. He has rode almost perfect today. Things just seem to be clicking for him, and I don't know if Baylor's going to have anything for him as we get down to the wire here. Kelly with a fairly, not an enormous lead, but comfortable enough that as long as he hits his marks, we should see Kelly come in for a win today, and Baylor should come into the number 2 spot. Nothing too crazy. I think you flip-flop this. If Baylor's the guy who finishes out front and Kelly finishes in the number 2 spot, it's the same scenario. It's going to come down to the last race at Ironman. Nonetheless, you do want to be that guy who has the point advantage heading into the last round, and right now it looks like that guy is going to be the 530 of Ben Kelly, as he's not got much further to go now before we should see him pop out of the woods. Stu Baylor getting cheered on right there. Come on, buddy. He says, get to it. And Stu Baylor says, I'm trying. It's been a tough one. Both riders riding very well today. Hats off to both of them, to be honest, as they've separated themselves from the rest of the XC1 and without a doubt have set themselves apart this season. And looking forward to watching this thing play out here in 2021 and honestly setting the stage for the next few years of what we can expect from these guys. And it's deeper than these two. You got Ricky Russell out there. He's having a solid day. Thad Duvall, Jordan Ashburn. Talent runs deep at GNCC, and it's going to be great for a number of years. And here comes Ben Kelly now, just a few more turns to get through. As you can see, he's stoked. He knows now this is my win here today. I am taking the win, and I am taking that points lead into the Ironman GNCC here in a couple of weeks. So congratulations to Ben Kelly taking a win here today at the Buckwheat 100, a win he desperately needed.
Yeah, man, feels good to get the win. Feels like it's been forever. Stu's been killing it, and yeah, it was another dogfight today. Honestly, I think he got the whole shot, and I didn't have the best jump, but I got into third quick behind Jordan, and we were able to reel Stu back in. Track was gnarly and probably hard to lead that first lap. He went down, and me and Jordan were able to get by him, and yeah, I got by him shortly thereafter, and yeah, just kind of charged, rode strong, and just focused on the track myself and not crashing. I've been crashing so much lately just from losing focus, so yeah, I'm just pumped to stay focused, stay strong, and yeah, I felt good all day and stayed off the ground. A few sketchy moments, but that'll happen, and yeah, it feels really good to pull off a win.
Now, Stu Baylor coming through moments ago, and you can see, honestly, visible frustration in Baylor right now. Not where he wanted to finish this race, coming in here with the lead. He wanted to carry that into Ironman in a couple of weeks, but hey, second place, not too shabby. Come back, rebound at Ironman.
It's just one of those days. It felt like, I really had good speed, and early on I could gain a lot of time and then just stupid stuff. I kept little mistakes, like unforeseen front end push and end up in a tree, and then had one big crash, and after that was kind of the game changer. It was like, you know, some days you're on the track and everything kind of clicks, everything goes your ways, and other days it just doesn't. Today was one of those days, and it sucks being this close to the championship. You know, I felt like we've had the most dominant year, and you know, we're not showing it. You know, had to sit out on round one and failures at round two, and it's eating at you. You know, it's as this winds down, you start thinking about all the money that it's costing you if you're not winning. So, you know, I hate to say it like that, but we'll be ready for Ironman. You know, I've ridden really well the last few times there, and you know, I think we won that race 2 of the last 3 times we've lined up. So we're looking forward to that one. It should be a good one, and we'll have fun either way.
On to the next one. Looking at the top 10 from today, how about it for Thad Duvall, rounding out the top 3 and his first appearance on the podium since round 1 of this season. We had a chance to catch up with Thad after today's race.
Yeah, it was good. I got a good jump and was just kind of riding my own race, and I had a huge crash again. I don't know, I can't stop crashing, but dropped back to like 6th or 7th, and then just was like, man, what are you, like, you gonna get on the podium today or what? But yeah, the bike was awesome, so I just put my head down and hammered as hard as I could the last like 3 laps, and caught Lane, and then, man, it was a duel. It's funny, you know, he grew up like 30 minutes down the road, and I grew up with him, and I was like, man, what's the odds of 2 kids battling for last position on the podium right here? Like, just grew up right down the road. So got around him, and then we had a moment over here right before the PowerPoint. I think we both hit, like, lines came together, and yeah, it was wild. I think he might have went down and gave me a little cushion to kind of just cruise to the finish. And yeah, yeah, right at the end, I had to push my bike across the line and got the heart rate up a little bit, but it was good. It's like monkey off my back to be finally back up here. It's been a long time, and I feel like I'm starting to be a little bit normal. Just got to be better and be with these guys off the beginning.
Now, taking a look at the Specialized race recap, it was the 514 Am Pro Yamaha of Stu Baylor grabbing the hole shot and the early lead into the woods. Ricky Russell started out great, sitting in the number 2 spot and even leading the race for a bit, but eventually it became the Ben Kelly and the Stu Baylor show, with both Ben Kelly and Ricky Russell getting around Stu Baylor for a moment. That's where we saw Ricky Russell, the 212 Coastal Racing Factory gas ride out front. Baylor would eventually work his way, as did Ben Kelly, around Ricky Russell into the number 1 and number 2 spot, and then from there it was buckle up, Buttercup. Things got wild as Ben Kelly took control of this one. Solid day for Thad Duvall as well, making his return to the podium, finishing 3rd on the day. And good look right there of Ben Kelly and Stu Baylor coming through at the 5-mile marker of the race course. And it was just Ben Kelly's day. Simply put, he rode very well throughout the day. You heard him talk at the end of the last race. He was frustrated with how many times he was off the machine. Not so much the case today, as he came through and picked up the win and the points lead as we head into the last round of the season. Who's it going to be? Ben Kelly with the points advantage, but Stu Baylor's going to come to fight, no doubt about it. Congrats to Johnny Gerard as well, capturing the championship in the XC2. That's going to do it for us here at GNCC. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.